Yes, everybody. Russ of the West Ham Network. Hope you're enjoying your West Ham free weekend. Another West Ham free weekend. Obviously, we play Newcastle on Monday. A big week for them next week. Not just a trip to the London Stadium, but a trip to Wembley at the weekend. We're going to talk about that. And as always, we like to get on an opposition to have a good chat and find out how they're feeling ahead of the games against the mighty Hammers. And we had him on for the away leg, and we won. So I thought we'll bring him back, albeit we've got a different manager now. So he kind of got helped Lopetegui get sacked in a weird way. But it's a man who's very busy at the moment because all the wrestling is on every bloody streaming channel at the moment with Netflix and AEW going to be on Amazon Prime Video and stuff. So he's a busy boy. So I appreciate him coming on, Mr. Ross Tweddell. Morning. How are we?
Football-wise, absolutely terrible. Couldn't be worse. Pretty much waiting for Isaac to get, run down by a car when he's walking his dog around the streets of Gosforth or something like that before Sunday comes around. Life, as he says, busy, but I can't believe how it's gone again. Got to a cup final again, and the wheels have fallen off, just like 2 years ago.
Yeah, obviously, we've got the cup final on Sunday. But obviously, you've got us on the Monday. It can't. It's really crap timing, isn't it? As you said, we listened to the Eddie Howe press conference. And obviously there was question marks over Alexander Isak, and as we were saying just beforehand, it looks like he's going to be okay. But would you risk him?
Absolutely not. Wrap him up in cotton wool, give him a nice cup of tea, sit him on there. I wouldn't even take him. What's the point? We all know what's going to happen if he plays a single second of that game on Monday. I don't know, Max Kilman will step on his toe and he'll be out for just 6 days. So he'll come back fit on the Monday, but he'll be injured for the Sunday. That's how things have gone because we've lost Anthony Gordon, stupid red card. At the time, I was thinking it was a harsh red card, but looking back, you can't exactly look. It's a nice little palm strike to the back of the head. You can't do that and expect to escape without a red card. We've lost Lewis Hall for the rest of the season, who, ironically, look at these pictures. It's as if we've planned this, but we haven't. The away game against Liverpool, that's as good as a defensive performance I've seen against Mo Salah all season long. So to lose him couldn't be a bigger blow, maybe apart from Isak, obviously, for Newcastle, because now we've got the likes of, I think Tino Livramento will probably play left back, but he's obviously been playing more right back this season. Matty Targett has been stealing a living for the longest time. He still exists, by the way. He came on Sunday, a game which was awful, Brighton at home in the FA Cup from start to finish. Deserved to get knocked out there. So, and then Sven Botman this morning has been revealed he's out for 8 weeks. So when it's raining like it is on Big Sven there, it pours all over us at Newcastle.
Oh, he's a big lad. So it's, he sort of protects all the small ones. But as you said, Eddie was saying that Isaac, as he said, he should be okay. Ben Trippier could be back as well, and then obviously, as you said, Livramento could go left back, and maybe Trippier goes right back. It's not ideal, is it? It's always the way, isn't it, when it comes to your cup finals?
Well, yeah, it's 2 years ago we had Nick Pope with the most ridiculous red card where he was 35, 40 yards out of his area, well, off his line, I should say, and handballing the ball when Liverpool were running through to score there. And this year, it's obviously the first choice left side's gone when Liverpool have got, they've only got Trent and Mo Salah on the right, so it's not too much to deal with. So that's great. Botman, who has been missing for most of the season, to be fair, so that's not going to change too much in terms of what we had available. But when he came back in just before Christmas against Spurs, where I remember in particular, it's just the difference it is night and day between Dan Burn, Fabian Schär, and then when Botman's playing with one or both of them. Because I don't know what's happened to Fabian Schär over the past couple of weeks or maybe the month or so, because it just feels like maybe he's too comfortable now because he's one of the best signings Newcastle's made in the Premier League era for £3 million to get a player like him. But the last month or so, he's just been not at the races whatsoever. Dan Burn is what he is. He has his hot and cold days, but missing Botman is a massive blow. And it's just typical. It's just bloody typical every time.
And you're looking ahead to the, don't forget, poor left side of Newcastle's got Bowen and Wan-Bissaka to face on Monday. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And they're all right as well.
They're not too bad. Wan-Bissaka are the best 15 million quid, I think, defender we've bought ever I can think of, really, in the Premier League here. We're actually smashing it at the moment. But as you said, it's... I remember this was a long time ago when we got to the FA Cup final in 2006, and the week before we actually played, it was obviously against Liverpool. It was a Steven Gerrard final with the score in the 90th, that type of thing, that one. And we played Liverpool the week 10 days before, and they end up having a fight on the pitch between two players, Hayden Mullins and Louis Garcia, both getting sent off, both missing the FA Cup final. And there's always a twist, isn't there? There always a twist with these types of lead ups. And I really hope you guys win it, because it's like, I know because we've obviously had a period of not winning anything. Then we won the Europa Conference League. You guys, it's been even longer than us.
Yeah, my 1955 was the last domestic one, the FA Cup. So 1969. Some people like to call it what the Europa League is now. So other people like to say that's a load of bollocks, but it's still a long time either way. It's. I mean, looking at PSG against Liverpool the other night, the way to play against them, and even we got a good 3-3 draw against Liverpool. The way to go at Liverpool is just hoof it long and be on the front foot. Because they're as good as Van Dijk and Konate obviously are. When they're up against it, they're a little, especially that Konate is a bit rash from time to time for me. And especially, I think Van Dijk's a bit of a fraud. I saw a tweet a few weeks ago. Right, this is a hot take for you, that showed that Van Dijk likes to hide away and give the onus to his other centre-back partner. So the other centre-back gets dragged out and he just steps back and then mops up everything that happens. And some might say that's a good centre-back partnership. But I saw tweets where people have showed examples where it's happening when the ball's on his side of the pitch. So he plays left centre-half. You expect him to go and push the ball, but he's still dropping off there. He's a fraud, let me tell you.
Man's a fraud. And funny enough, we had on Thursday night, we had our first show called Hammer's Hot Takes, and then so we had some hot takes, but all West Ham related, unfortunately. But yeah, I mean, are you? It doesn't matter who you are in terms of a footballer. You're thinking about Sunday. You're not think. I think it doesn't matter how professional you are. In the back of your mind on Monday when we play you guys, you'll have at the back of the mind Sunday. We've
been thinking about Sunday for the last month. It's no coincidence we went, was it 9 or 10 on the bounce in the Premier League, got to the final, fantastic 2-leg performance. I know those games were a month apart, but both legs I thought were full value for getting through against Arsenal. And ever since then, it's been absolutely woeful. It really has. It's clear that everybody's just, I don't want to get injured for the cup final. I mean, Gordon, obviously, he's got his Liverpool ties and whatnot, so maybe that was done on purpose. Conspiracy theories are flying around. It's hard not to think that. And when you're watching us play at Liverpool last week, or 2 weeks ago, he didn't lift a finger, did Anthony Gordon? So you're thinking, what's happening here is a little bit... You wouldn't like to think that because we're paying him a boatload of money. And he does seem like the sort of fella that wouldn't have let that happen to him in a preparation for a game and that kind of thing. But I don't know. Yeah, as you say, most of this conversation's been about Sunday instead of the game on Monday.
Well, I think
on Monday, aren't we?
We are here talking about Monday, but do you know what? I think we've been in the same boat with Mohamed Kudus, who's been literally a shadow of himself this season. As soon as we play a side that are potentially going to be interested in him on Sunday in the summer, like Arsenal when we beat them at Emirates, he turns up like he was just like prime Kudus. It's funny how certain games, certain players turn up for it, and he was flashing his nick as well and truly to Arteta, I think. But, to our benefit, we won the game. But as you said, despite the fact having a bit of a poorish run at the moment, you're still sixth in the league. And it's just been a crazy season this season, isn't it? Absolutely mental. Yeah, everyone's beating everyone. No predictions.
Yeah, I'm not going to bother this time after last time, because last time Lopetegui was properly under pressure.
Oh,
Newcastle were just getting going. We had a bit of an iffy dip, and then it felt like the few games before West Ham, if memory serves us right, it might just be completely wrong here, but it felt like we were picking up again. It felt like nothing but a comfortable 3-1 home win or something like that.
Yeah.
And then somehow, we didn't know it then, but we know it now. Newcastle can blow very hot and very cold this season. When they're on, they're on. When we're off, Eddie Howe, it's his one major weakness as manager for me is he never, ever changes formation in the middle of a game. If it's not going right with plan A, he sticks with plan A and waits and then tries to make not even like positional changes, just substitutions for substitutions, if that makes sense. Like it that'll come off for Wilson. Like the formation doesn't change. And I wish it would do more. Because that game at home to West Ham, we didn't get going at all. You poo-housed your way. Can I swear on you?
You
shit-housed your way to a 2-0 win.
I thought, do you know what? That was a real false dawn, that game, because we came away thinking, this is it. Lopetegui's found it. He's actually this is why he's here. and it lasted one game. Literally lasted that one game, and that's probably, apart from the Arsenal game, maybe when we beat them at the Emirates a couple of weeks ago, that was probably our best performance this season, and it was like mental. And then it obviously turned even more to shit. And now Graham Potter, a man who likes to change formations several times mid-game, is in the helm now. So, and the fan base is just totally turned. It's incredible. He's only been here 6 weeks, and it seems like he's been here forever. It's a breath of fresh air. And if someone said to me at the beginning of the season, "Do you know what? You're going to finish in the league above Spurs and Man United," I would have gone, Europe. Definitely Europe. No, we'll finish 12th and we'll be above. That's what the craziness of this season. I mean, as I said, you've had a poor run of form. I think it's 3. You've won 2 out of the last 6 or something like that, and you're still 6th. It's so tight. I'm just looking at the league now, and it's only 2 points between you and 10th. It's crazy. But you've got a game in hand on that club and Villa. But mate, yeah. I tell you what. I mean, realistic. I mean, obviously the cup final's a cup final. Anything can happen, really, isn't it? These things. As you said, if Konate rash challenge early on in the game, anything happens. People pick up early yellow cards. That's why we love a cup final. And I think, to be honest, a lot of people are going to be. And I'm going to be backing you guys. I'm a big new. It's one of my clubs I've always had a bit of a soft spot for, Newcastle. I don't know why. Maybe there's a lot of West Ham players who played for both in modern eras, and that's probably why.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we could potentially have everyone back by Somerville. I think everyone could be back. Say Paqueta could be back before he gets banned for life or whatever.
Yeah, what's happening with that? Because that's gone very quiet since the start of the season.
It's due to take place this month. Actually, I think it was on Wednesday. Sky Sports revealed that FA are basically, they are pushing for a lifetime ban. That's what they want. They want a lifetime ban. Now, the fact is, this has been going on for the best part of 18 months, 2 years. It doesn't sound like there's any real evidence, but it's not like a criminal hearing. It's basically it's about probable cause. So has he done probable cause? And who knows? I mean, obviously, like you guys, Tonali basically he was betting. It was clear he was betting. He got done, and so on and so forth. This is different, and it's arguably more severe because it's match fixing. It's not betting on. It's actually making the. So I remember in like the 80s or 90s, like Bruce Grobbelaar being accused of match fixing and stuff like that. And so it's. I think the likelihood is he'll be playing the rest of this season, because although the trial they reckon is going to take, or the hearing is going to take 3 weeks, there'll be appeals by Paqueta's team if he's found guilty. We don't know. We don't really know what's happening. There's a big conspiracy theory around his phone. He handed his phone in, and so then they had it for like a month or something like that. So he bought a new phone because obviously the man needs a phone.
Yeah.
And then gave it back to him, and so as you would do, you throw you chop it in, you compare and recycle, your old mobile phone. Then they said, actually, can we have it back? And he went, well, I've got rid of it now.
Yeah.
And it's like, we've had it, so that there's a real fuck up with the FA, I think, in terms of how it's all worked out. But it hasn't helped.
I hope the ban comes through before Monday, personally. Unless they pull their finger out their arses and get it sorted out.
Yeah, I mean, they work Sundays usually, but there is still got today, still got Saturday. No, I think we'll have everyone back. Full crew's back in training, which would be good to see.
I don't care about that.
I know you don't.
Wanking.
And Evan Ferguson might get his start, which
but he seems like a funny one, didn't he? Because when Brighton let him go, I was very surprised that it went to someone like West Ham, because it feels like potentially that's a direct rival to Brighton. Maybe there's a bit too much of a gap. How's he doing? Is he living up to the hype he had a couple of years ago?
No.
Fair.
Well, he hasn't played. To be honest, he hasn't played. He looks like a trier. God loves a trier. And I think he's not fit. And it's crazy that Brighton haven't utilised him, but obviously Hussler doesn't want him. He'd rather have Danny Welbeck lead the line, which says something.
Hey, I'm not having a bad word said against Danny Welbeck, even though he claimed he's a Mackham at heart on Sunday after he scored the extra time winner. What What a player that Matt. An injury like free Danny Welbeck should be a lot higher than Brighton for me. I think he's a hell of a player, me.
But it's one of those things. If someone said to me, or I said some West Ham fans that we were going to sign Danny Welbeck whenever it was, everyone would have gone, "You what the fuck?" But it just shows, in the right environment. He's always scored goals wherever he's gone, really. And but Brighton always do it, don't they? I mean, Glenn Murray. I always remember Glenn Murray. He was like, Jesus, he would always be the spurn of us. He'd always score against us, and it's like even if doesn't play, Callum Bloody Wilson will be trolled out. Of course he will, and obviously he loves a goal.
West Ham, yeah,
loves a goal, and we hate him. So, and he hasn't got his podcast mate on the other side because Antonio's, on the sidelines.
Saying about Wilson though, he doesn't look anywhere near it at the moment. He's been coming on for 20. Well, I think he started against, who was it last week? I can't remember now. He started one game recently, I think. But he's obviously just it's the injuries. I can't believe we've not cashed in on him yet. I can't believe something wasn't facilitated in January. It just feels like he's going to get to the end of the season. Hopefully, he doesn't get offered a new contract because why would we keep him? I'd love to see the percentage of games he's not been available for Newcastle because it must be nearly half, if not more. But it's a shame because he is go back a couple of years. I mean, go back to the Steve Bruce times. He was him and Maximan up front were literally just keeping us in the league by themselves. But he's a hell of a player, but it's just the injuries. I guess that's like a bit like Danny Welbeck. We had a period in the middle of his career where the injuries really scuppered him. But it's a shame. But yeah, he does love a goal against West Ham. It just depends if the entire team turns up or not. If he gets the service, because if he gets the service, I would fancy him to get a goal because it is Callum Wilson. He doesn't know where the back of the net is, but it just depends whether Newcastle turn up, which we don't know if they will do these days. If we go back a couple of years, we knew what we were getting. It was high press. It was all, don't want to say heavy metal football, but that kind of style, like right in your face, this, that, and the other. And this season, it's either that, or if that doesn't work within the first 10 minutes, and bollocks, it's one of them days. We might hang on for a draw, or we're not going to have more than 5 shots in the entire game. So who knows what might happen on Monday?
Who knows? I mean, if we did win, I think that's probably the first time in God knows how long we've had 3 wins on the bounce. I mean, obviously, we've had 2 wins on the bounce, which is the first time in over a year. 2 clean sheets as well. But yeah, mate, I just don't know. That's why I enjoy the Newcastle game because it is so unpredictable. I mean, I remember you guys coming down here and putting 5 past us without even blinking, and then we go up and, as you said, we turned up earlier in the season. It's always an interesting game. As I said, there's no point really predicting it because anything can happen.
I don't want to predict it after last time.
I remember the last time I put the thumbnail, we'll help you get Loppy the sack or something like that. And I was like, you did eventually, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm not predicting this. In fact, I'll predict a 2-0 West Ham win. I mean, they're coming at the game with 2 wins off the bounce, as you say there. Newcastle, 3 defeats in 4. I'm just looking down here. So, yeah, it's not looking good.
And the cup final in the back of the mind.
Well, yeah,
that would always be.
That's the biggest issue.
That is the biggest issue. Last time you came on, we played Player Pictionary, still pattern pending. Still waiting for that final pattern to come through. But we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to be playing Player Pixar-y. Pixar as in, Pixar as in Disney Pixar.
Oh, Disney Pixar. Like they've been naughty and they've been pixelated.
Oh, next week, next one, Pixar men. I like that. So obviously everyone loves a bit of AI at the moment. And so I've gone to our favourite AI channel thing and asked them to create some generated images of players who have played for West Ham and Newcastle so they've played both clubs as Pixar characters. And so it's Player Pixar-y. Right, let's get the first one.
Lee Bowyer.
Exactly.
Or Frank Skinner with the West Brom England shirt on there.
Yeah, exactly. That's always it's the shirts that get me sometimes. These things. They're very good. But yeah, Lee Bowyer, who's cracker. Who else have we got on there? I can't remember.
That's Leslie Ferdinand, surely.
Exactly. That's quite good. I quite like that.
What that shirt's about, like.
Exactly. I did it. We did it with some West Ham players, and we did it with Slaven Bilic, and he looked like the man under the bridge. He looked like a troll. It was hilarious. It was absolutely brilliant.
Is that Stuart Pearce, is it?
It is. It's
Yeah.
Stuart Pearce playing for something FC. No idea, but there he is. God bless Stuart Pearce. God bless the psycho.
Was he at West Ham after Newcastle? I'm trying to wrap my brains here.
He was at, I think he came to West Ham after Newcastle, and then
Yeah.
obviously he came back to be a coach under Moisey. But yeah,
he was part of Kenny Dalglish's granddad revolution at Newcastle. He ripped up Kevin Keegan's team and replaced them with Ian Rush and Stuart Pearce in the late 90s for some reason. I don't understand. John Barnes as well.
But to be fair, when he came to us, I think he was 37, something like that, and I think he became like our fans player of the year, or hammer of the year that year. He was awesome, and I think he may have been one of the oldest ever to have won it. I think Billy Bonds must have won it in his late 30s as well, but absolutely, I think he ended up playing about 40, 50 appearances for us. So that's a fine age. And he obviously went to Man City after that. So yes, who else we got? Oh, beautiful.
I mean, it's a very kind picture, I think, of Scott Parker. That's what he thinks he looks like with his bloody Matalan coats that he wears on the touchlines these days, doesn't he?
But doesn't he look like sort of like a real hero, a real Disney hero, someone who would defeat the dragon to win the princess's heart?
I guess that's how West Ham fans look at him after. I remember the year he went down, he was like doing team talks, wasn't he, and stuff like that. But for Newcastle, it was like let's snap someone's leg, but then when we have the ball at our feet, let's do like 17 pirouettes and then pass it back to the centre half. He loved doing that for Newcastle.
He loves it. He still loved the term when he was at West Ham. I mean, he won Hammer of the Year 3 years in a row, and I think the year we went down, he won the Footballer's Right to Player of the Year, which was, I think, the first time that ever happened. Mental. Obviously, we'll might see him on the touchline next season at St James's Park for Burnley. Absolutely doing bits. Although they did concede for the first time, didn't they, this calendar year at the weekend?
Yeah.
Which is
we're meant to be getting there. It's all meant to be agreed already. Us getting their goalkeeper in the summer, Trafford.
James Trafford, yeah. I think.
How I feel about that after we had the chance to get, allegedly had the chance to get Mamardashvili last summer before Liverpool got him. I don't know if we're looking at James Trafford and Mamardashvili, who I'd rather have if it was true. Those rumors. Yeah.
I think there's a lot of. I think a goalkeeper's an area that we need to look at in the summer as well. If Fabianski comes to the end of his contract, he's the oldest player in the Premier League, and Areola, I'm still never been convinced about him. So yeah, I think we end up. Well, I reckon we might.
Pope. There's never been a more West Ham signing than 32-year-old maybe Nick Pope at the moment.
Nick Pope, or Ramsdale. I could see us getting typical West Ham player that's been relegated. Get the goalkeeper, and actually we're interested in the centre half as well, Harwood Bellis as well. Yeah. So, which is never more of a West Ham thing. Although Fabianski, we signed him the season Swansea went down. It's not Dave Benson Phillips.
That is Dave Benson Phillips. Is that maybe Demba Ba? Yeah,
it is. God bless Demba Ba.
That was a good signing from a relegated side for Newcastle. Because I remember it was the big to do about his knee, and that's why all these teams wouldn't touch him. But then Newcastle took the punt, and it paid off for a good year and a half. Then he went to Chelsea, went after the money, the bastard.
Yeah, I remember we were like, because we'd gone down, and they were, and in essence they sort of said. The club really wanted to keep him, so they were sort of said to us, because obviously I'm the matchday DJ at West Ham, so they were saying, could you sort of like make him feel loved when doing the announcements? It's like he gives a fuck how the fact is we're going down, so it's his clause in his contract, he can go. Yeah. But yeah, absolutely.
What a player though. I mean, you're looking before he's at Brock Pierre, him and Remy are the two since Shearer. In terms of being the best centre forwards we've had,
I think is one of those what ifs at West Ham as well. It's like certain players where if they were there a little bit longer, what they could have been, and I think a few of them are Newcastle, West Ham related players. Demba Ba being one of them, and I think another one's coming up in a minute. Although I didn't think it was a very good picture. Actually, it's this one. Yeah, exactly.
Who the hell is that? Oh, is that maybe Bellamy?
You're good at this, Ross. I like that. It is.
That took a second. He's definitely got that jacket in his wardrobe. That's for sure.
Definitely got that jacket. I've seen him on the touchline when he was being manager for Wales, wearing a very similar jacket. Yeah, he was a similar player. I think he left too soon at West Ham, and I think unfortunately, it talked about injuries. He was partnered to be with Dean Ashton, and they would have been
good
force
if Dean Ashton would have stayed fit.
injuries again. Sean Wright Phillips, the smallest English player,
I
takes
was
him out.
heartbroken when the way he left Newcastle. Graham Souness, God, I'd get beaten up myself, obviously, but I'd love to just swing for him once, because what he did at Newcastle, taking Bobby Robson's team from, I think we finished, it was fourth, third, then fifth in 3 consecutive seasons. He comes in, less than a full season, we're down in fucking 14th in the league. He's made Bellamy go to Celtic on loan because they fell out. He's fallen out with all these players, and he ripped up the entire team sheet, and he ruined the club for a good 5 or 6 years after. You think about Allardyce and that coming in, and they had to pick up after Graham Souness, and obviously Glenn Roeder as well. But yeah, that was hot, because my first Newcastle team was like the 01-02 season, and Bellamy and Shearer were the front two. Oh, those were the days.
Those were the days, my friend. Yeah, no, it's funny, isn't it? Just one sort of mistake in sort of who's taking the management can derail the side 2 or 3 years at least. We're still, I think every year I've sort of said this year's going to be a massive rebuild for us. This year's going to be a massive, and I must have said it 3 years in a row. And actually, this year is going to be a massive rebuild for us in the summer. And it all stemmed from that sort of Pellegrini era, and it just never really got recovered from that. Really, ages ago. This one is crap. This one is crap. It's not a mixture of you and me, Ross.
Oh, bloody hell. I know he was a big lad, but that's very unfair. Fucking hell.
I thought that was really unfair, but I kept that one in because all the others are quite good. I love Kev.
Oh, so, I mean, some comments about Mike Ashley since he left Newcastle aside, which is obviously hard to forget when he goes on TalkSport and that these days. But what a guy. Staying with Newcastle when we went down. It felt like he was probably assistant manager to Chris Hughton when he was the captain. On the pitch, him and the likes of Joey Barton. I mean, fuck Joey Barton by the way here. Can't be asked with him anymore being associated with Newcastle. But back then when we went down, like the likes of Nolan and Barton and Nicky Butt maybe as well. They really got us back up to where we were in the Premier League.
Needed to be, yeah, totally agree. I actually did a night with him the other week, and he was on real top form, and a lovely guy. And obviously, currently the Northampton Town manager.
Is he?
Cobblers, yeah, it's true. Yeah. So he had to sort of we did 2 nights, so he had to leave at 10:30 to go up to Northampton for the Friday, and then come back down for the second night. Nice guy, top guy. I mean, he did the same thing. He left you guys to come to us, and we were in the Championship under Big Sam and started that revolution. And I think it was a key part of the Moyes background staff as well, which is
looking back, he's a weird footballer, because he's obviously calm. Centre attack midfield is his position, but he would never move that much.
No,
but he was always there. And he was just, even though he never moved, he was just always there at the right place at the right time. Because that year he left Newcastle, like our first year back in the Premier League, I'm sure he must have got about 11 or 12 goals.
It was his highest goal scoring, I think, ever or something like that. And he actually made a point. It's like I went to West Ham, and obviously we got promoted as a player. I won the Conference League as a coach. I want to come back and win something as the manager. And I was like, okay, Kev. Bless you. I like you. I do like you, but. Anyway, Cobblers. No, it's true. Who's next? Chocolate.
Who else could that be? That big old sex panther himself, Alan Pardew.
Chocolate. Absolute chocolate. Funny manager, and he seems to, as you said, he seems to do all right for a little bit, and then everywhere he's been, and then it just turns to shit very quickly.
Yeah, when it goes well, it goes well. But my prime season ticket years at Newcastle were under his management, sort of like 2012 until 2016. I think I had my season ticket the first time round. And watching the football, the style of football was hard to watch at times, because I remember we bought Vernon Anita from Ajax. Obviously, he's been brought up playing football the right way on the floor, one touch passing, this, that, and the other. He comes to Newcastle. He's got Mike Williamson behind him, and our tactic back then under Alan Pardew was for the keeper to give it short, or maybe if he wasn't kicking it long, give it short to Mike Williamson. Mike Williamson would spend half an hour looking around, and Mike Williamson would just kick the ball over little Vernon Anita's head. So Vernon Anita's like 5'4". He plays on the floor. He can't win an aerial duel, but Pardew, for some reason, every single time he just kick it long and kick it long and kick it long. And it wasn't that bad under Pardew at Newcastle. He never got rid of the accusations that he owed Mike Ashley money or whatever the old fable was. And that, I think he's claimed it wasn't true, but he never got like that Mike Ashley crony thing away from him, because the way he came in, because Chris Hughton was doing a fantastic job and he got sacked for no reason, and then Pardew was brought in, and things did, I think, they did go another level, I think, than what Chris Hughton maybe could have done. I mean, look at the season after this first full season, we finished 5th. I don't know if that would have happened under Chris Hughton, but yeah, it's a weird time under Pardew, because when it was bad, it was terrible, but when it was good, it was very good. It's one of those, what the kids say, the streets won't forget that Pardew team.
No, I think it's same with us, because he said he came in and obviously we were relegated. We just lost the playoff final against Crystal Palace, and he came in and cleared the decks, got rid of everyone really. Brought in loads of youngsters, Nigel Reo-Coker. He promoted like Anton Ferdinand and Elliot Ward into the first team. Got promoted. Obviously, won the playoffs, and then the next season got us into the FA Cup final. And again, from a promoted side, going into I think we finished definitely the top. It might have been 7th or something that season, which was fucking amazing, really.
It's just he's an unlikable twat as well, and he doesn't help him. You can tell he's a smarmy fucking, as I said, a sex panther. I mean, those stories you hear of him, even now going into nightclubs, just at his grand old age of 74. It's
I mean, obviously I know a lot of the players around that time who played under him at West Ham, and they called him Chocolate. That was his name, because he would eat himself if he could.
Yeah.
And so you got that feeling, and I've had that feeling from him. Actually, to be fair, to give Pardew his dues, he was the only manager I've worked under, so to speak. I think this is my 24th year doing the music at West Ham. He's the only one we used to have a meeting almost every week pre-match in his little shitty office at Upton Park, and he'd always say, "What we got on, Russ? What we got? And any good music on tonight?" And I said, "What do you want?" He goes, "Bit of Sinatra. Yeah, that'll get the crowd going. Fly me to the moon." So and so what he did, bless him, once he came in, he said, "Right, at half time we've got Dean Martin impersonator coming on, Russ." No one else knew. He just booked him. He'd gone to see the Rat Pack at the Savoy Theatre, and he got so half time. This Dean Martin impersonator turns up, who he knows, starts singing Bubbles and doesn't know the words to "I'm Forever Blind Bubbles." And then I remember once he came back, and this is again shows the naivety of some people. Came back, I think it was pre-season. He said, "I've got a great idea, Russ and Jeremy at the time. Got a great idea for like a halftime game. I've been to SeaWorld in Orlando, and they do this thing where the camera zooms in on a person and they say a question, and they have to put their fingers up, whether it's 1, 2, or 3. And I said, okay, so you want us to zoom in on a fan and ask them to put 1 finger up, 2 fingers up, or 3 fingers up? Yeah, okay, right. Move on. Put a bit more Sinatra on next week, Russ. But yeah, but he was the only one who gave a shit about what we did. So
that's fair enough. That's nice to hear.
That's nice to hear. Yeah. Speaking of,
well, I mean, Samuel Aladice, I do believe that might be.
They got his size right. Oh dear.
I mean, that was a weird one at Newcastle, because it felt like when he first arrived, I remember we played his old team Bolton in the first game of the season, won 3-1. It was attacking football. It was like, what's going on here? Back then, he was one of the few dickheads with an earphone on, and he was talking to people upstairs, and obviously all the stories about sports science, and apparently Freddie Shepherd had courted him for many years, but Freddie had left, and Sam was hired before he left, and then Mike Ashley came in. We made a few good signings, and you're thinking, bloody hell, it's working. And then I remember, was it Liverpool at home? We got beat 3-0, I think, Liverpool at home. And there was someone, Charles Nzogbia was having a fantastic game despite us getting humped. And he took him off. And that's where people started going, you don't know what you're doing. I think that's how it went. I was there, but I can't quite remember what happened. And the wheels just fell off so quickly. We weren't even doing that bad under him. But I think it was, because you think that was like 2007, 2008. So we were only like 2 or 3 years removed from Bobby Robson sort of times. I think people were we were still gagging for that. After going through Graham Souness and Glenn Roeder. I mean, Glenn Roeder wasn't really that so backed in the transfer market, so to speak. He got Martins in for about 10 million, but that was really about it. So it was a bit like, oh, he's been backed. Let's try and get Bobby Robson football back, Kevin Keegan football back before that, but it never quite happened for him. And he was showing the door because he wasn't Ashley's man.
Yeah. A similar thing to us, I think. It was do you know what? I love a bastard. I love a bastard. I love a bastard player. I love a bastard manager. And he was so divisive, and I think it became more of a case of being more divisive against the fans rather than the opposition. I remember one game we played Burnley away at Turf Moor, and I was there, and obviously Burnley fans hate him. Bolton and Blackburn,
Yeah.
they basically played for. It's like someone plays for Millwall and Spurs or thing against West Ham, and obviously Burnley's one of those really weird ones where they have to walk across the pitch to get to the dugout. So I never understand that why that always happens, but they have to walk diagonally from the tunnel to where the dugout is. All the players had walked out, and then literally 25 yards behind was Big Sam walking on his own, striding, everyone booing, waving to literally the fans are booing, West Ham fans are booing him as well. Him waving to everyone. He loved it. He fucking loved the drama.
I should hate him. Me, obviously, his time at Newcastle, he famously bought a holiday home somewhere and called it after Mike Ashley called it or something like that.
Yeah.
So and obviously his time at Sunderland. I should not like the man, but I listened to Under the Cosh, the podcast with John Parker and Chris Brown, the former Sunderland striker. And every single player who played under Allardyce, they tell stories of what like a fantastic manager he was and like what he would let them get away with, and it's common sense when you hear them tell the story. But you think about other managers not doing that, and then you think about like when he was West Ham manager, that clip when Chico Flores of Swansea is on the deck and he's just laughing at him. I like that kind of stuff, so I quite like Allardyce, to be fair, even though I shouldn't do as a Newcastle fan.
And actually. When we was doing stuff with Kevin the other day, he was talking some of the stuff. Obviously, he was Allardyce's man, at Bolton and Newcastle, West Ham, and he spoke about how all the players really enjoyed working with him because, as you said, he let them pre-season tours. They had a big fight. A couple of the boys had a fight, and I think it was James Collins and Andy Carroll. Yeah, and then the day after they all turned up and they were black eyes and. Allardyce was like, get on the bus. Anyone who was involved in that fight, stay here. Everyone else get on the bus. So everyone's like, oh, they're going to get absolutely torn shreds off each other. As soon as the door shut, Allardyce went, right, what happened? Tell me everything. But I quite like that.
Yeah.
And lastly, the best one.
That's definitely Andy Carroll.
How good is that? Absolutely doing bits in France, isn't he? As the kids would say.
Losing money every time he plays.
Losing money every time he plays, but scoring goals.
It's the love of the game, isn't it? He's doing well.
He is. It's good to see. He's a nice lad as well. He was always one of those players. Again, we've talked about quite a few players who injuries have just hampered their careers. And when he was fit, he was.
We had speak about Nolan's season when we first got back up. A little earlier on, Carroll was the centre forward. Nolan was playing behind that season, and obviously, I think Carroll must have got about 15 goals that season as well for a newly promoted team, and he was getting in the England squad. But obviously, they moved to Liverpool. I mean, the injuries probably would have happened if he stayed at Newcastle. It's obviously a lot. They say it about dogs, don't they? The bigger the dog, the more like injury prone and early they die and that kind of thing. He's massive, so of course, like injuries and stuff he's going to be more susceptible to them, I think. So. Maybe the injuries would have happened if he didn't leave, but it does make you wonder what would have happened if he did stay at Newcastle instead of going to Liverpool and didn't lose that momentum.
Yeah, no, totally. And same with us. I think I love forwards who command more than one defender, and when he was on it, both centre halves would be on him. So that means there's always space. And I always thought when he played, he was really good, but he never played that often. As often as he should.
I remember when we were getting linked with him when he came back in like 2019. I was like, what the fuck are we doing? Why are we signing him? Then you see him with a shirt, and I was like, oh, come on, it's meant to be. And then he did fuck all. But it was nice to see him back anyway.
It was nice. It was nice just to warm the bench up, wasn't it? And just one of your own. As I said, we're not bothered doing predictions because it's going to be an unpredictable game on Monday. Mate, it's been a pleasure. One question I want to ask about, obviously, we are in the West Ham network, all wrestling fans. How crazy has it been since Netflix? Have you seen, like, is it from a channel perspective, a lot more people interested because it's so accessible now, where previously it wasn't, particularly in the UK?
We have seen the general uptick because I think it is just easier to watch every single week. It's all if over here in the UK, it's all in one place. On Tuesday morning, you can wake up and watch Raw. Saturday morning, you can wake up and watch SmackDown. Wednesday morning, you can wake up and watch NXT. Monday morning again, or a Sunday morning, you can wake up and watch a pay-per-view, and they've happened. It's all just in one place, so that the interest is there. It's nice to see when you log in the morning after a show or 2 days after a show. It's always in the top 10. Which shows the interest there. I mean, they're doing good things as well with obviously the thing that happened at the weekend there, with people have been waiting 20 odd years for. So they're doing good things as well as making it more accessible to people around the world. So yeah, it's been so far so good. I mean, it's a bit more of a slog to get through. So obviously they're airing it in different platforms around the world. So us on Netflix have to sort of sit through what would be an ad break in America. But apart from that's been
slow motion shit. It's like to keep. Yeah, I know what you mean. What you mean.
It's a lot more slow moving, the shows, compared to what they used to be. But I guess it'll be the same if what they were if you're in America. It's just the fact that we have to sit through what they don't see.
Yeah, no, exactly. No, we love it. We love it. Yes, Sunday was quite fun. Because there's Anton, who I do the channel with. He lives up in Scotland, and his little kid Freddie. He they actually sorted it out now. So he goes to bed because they like to watch it live. So he goes to bed for a few hours. They wake up, watch the pay-per-view, then goes back to bed. I was like, absolutely brilliant. Bless him.
Dedication, isn't it?
That's dedication, little Freddie. But it's his birthday soon. I'm sure they'll be going to a Raw or a SmackDown for his birthday. But anyway, listen, mate, it's been an absolute pleasure, my friends. Anyway, if you haven't seen, if you're a wrestling fan, Cultaholic, definitely you know about it all. But if not, if you're like football fan, general content, Hold and Give, still doing that, mate. Still in the old FIFA 25, all the FIFA stuff.
Just one time a week we do a EA FC 25 stream, as it's called now, and it's the worst FIFA for many years. It fucking does my head in. But the people wanted me to be Sunderland manager, so I'm Sunderland manager. We're in the title race in season 3 in the Premier League, so I nearly had a heart attack on Tuesday because of my defenders. It's a woeful game to play, but it's fun to watch me have a breakdown every single Tuesday. I do it. So yeah, on the Hold and Give YouTube channel on the Tuesday we do that. Bollocks.
Exactly, mate. I wish you all the best on Sunday. Not on Monday, but on Sunday. As I said, it'd be great to. I mean, it'd just be fucking awesome to do like the open bus parade on Monday, wouldn't it?
Yeah. I mean, apparently there's no plans to do that, even if we win. Apparently,
bullshit.
There's something up in the air because there's an international break soon after, so a few of the players won't be there for when they had like earmarked the date. Now I was just like, fucking, just do it before they go. Fucking 70 years we're waiting for this day, potentially. It's not going to happen, but you know what I mean. 7. And by the way, my comments about Van Dijk earlier, that's just me looking for something. That's me clinging to hope. I don't actually believe that, just to get that clarity out there. Honestly, on Monday, I would take a 5-0 loss and no more injuries. I wouldn't give a shit. I'm just sick of seeing first-team players not being available for the cup final. So I'd take a 5-0 hump and Wan-Bissaka hat-trick. I don't give a shit.
Oh, hammer of the year for us this season. Love Wan. Okay, man. Well, anyway, take care, everybody. And for yourself, Ross, all the best. And have a great weekend, everyone. Much love. See you soon, peeps. Bye.